I wanted to do a short video about, talking about do you know your pastor? So I was just sitting here thinking about, I had just finished paying bills and not paying bills, but budgeting, getting ready for next month for May. And I was thinking about after I finished that up and everything, and I'm getting ready to start a challenge, a 21-day intermittent fasting challenge with Dr. Fong, starting May 27th. So I was just prepping for that. And then I was just thinking about some of my YouTube videos, really, and was thinking how basically I did some videos and I was just thinking about my uncle. And when he asked me, why would you do this? Why would you make these videos? So I was just thinking about that, reflecting on that again. And I was thinking about how, you know, about how important it is to know your pastor and for your pastor to know you, right? Be able to talk to them about some things, have questions um, about your faith, about what you learn in God's word is very, very important. And not only that, also too, to get to know them on a personal level, because that helps you to just kind of connect with them. So you're able to talk to them and not sort of be like, oh, they're much higher than me type. And I don't know if I should talk to them. No, we need to know them on a personal level too, just so we can kind of be able to. And I'm gonna say this too. Like I think, especially even me being married, me and my husband, we spend some time with our elders. So I'm a member of a church where we have plurality of elders. So um, we have plurality of leadership of pastors or ministers. Okay, um, so we have three, matter of fact, to be exact. And these men, we know them, okay, to a certain degree. And we're getting to know them. Let's put it that way, right? They very, I'm gonna just use the term open door policy and stuff like that. So now, why am I bringing this up? Based upon my uncle asking me, why would you do this? And what I'm talking about, this is the videos. I did some videos years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember, about a subject matter that it was actually, I took a pastor's sermon and I basically gave some commentary on, I would play the clip and then I would give my comments based on that clip that I played. Okay. So I was basically interacting with the, with the tape. And one of the reasons why too is I really I wanted to actually talk to some people that heard the sermon and that agreed with him, but they didn't talk to me. Um, so, which I hated because I really like to talk to people outside of my echo chamber because I want to grow. And I think you need people with different viewpoints in order to grow, right? You need to talk to people, understand people other ideas so you can grow. And so you can mature. So, and still, how does that get to the subject of knowing your pastor? So one of the things I felt like in the videos, he was saying that this is what she believes. He was saying this is what I believe, but he hadn't talked to me. My pastor doesn't know what I believe because he never talked to me. Now, I don't think it had been a year before we left the church. I think it had been about 2 months or 3 months. It might not even been that long that we just left the church. But he makes these videos. I mean, not make the videos. It was audio sermons, and they were recorded. And I had gotten access to that particular sermon. And but he was given the impression is this is what he knows what I believe, but he doesn't know what I believe because he never talked to me. We have never sat down and talked. And even the 14 years that I was a member of that church, I've been over his house for some events. I think 2 events. So I've been over his house for 2 events. So one was a yard sale or something he was doing with the youth, which actually his kids were. And then the other one would have been we were meeting some other people at the house so we can go to a women's conference in South Carolina. So we were just meeting there that morning. So really, I have never technically been invited over to the house. And neither did I need to, I guess, either, right? Because I didn't feel like I had any issues that I needed to be addressed or anything like that. And maybe that was probably part of the problem as well. Instead of thinking I need to try to get to know the pastor on a personal level, that never crossed my mind. It never crossed my mind. I think because he talked a lot of personal stuff in the pulpit, so you get to learn about him. Well, let me back up. You get to learn about him what he wanted you to know about him in the pulpit, as though this is everything about him, which is not true, right? We tell people what we want them to know about us, and not necessarily giving a person a chance to get to know us from their point of view, right? And then if I feel like I need some clarity on what you believe or who you are, I can ask. I have a relationship close enough with you to ask you some questions, right? So I didn't really have that relationship with the pastor. I didn't have that relationship. So he didn't know me. So I'm actually going to give you an incident that sort of, to me, solidified the fact that he didn't know me. Okay. And also too, part of that also too, I don't think he really wanted to know people. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Or maybe just know certain people. I don't know. But let me just give you this example. You can come to your own conclusion. Okay. So I wanted to take a break from teaching Sunday school. So I taught teenage girls Sunday school for a very long time, and very long time, over 10 years by this time. And I want to take a break because I wanted to kind of sort of step back from the situation, the things that was going on in my Sunday school class. I want to step back and kind of regroup and see, am I going in the right direction in what I want to teach in my class? I wanted to put some goals together, and I don't want to deal with the every Sunday after Sunday teaching my girls. So I actually wanted to write down some things. And also too, I want to say, Lord, am I using my Sunday school as a idol in my life, right? Is this something that I'm putting before you, right? That's what I also wanted to try to answer that question. And so the incident that happened, or one of the incidents I should say, because I don't think it was the only thing that happened, but one incident happened where a parent took some girls out of my Sunday school class. And without talking to me, we never discussed, what's going on. She just took the kids' word for it, and she took two of the girls out of the Sunday school class. And she did attend Sunday school and adult Sunday school, so she had the kids with her in adult Sunday school. Now, the pastor allowed this to happen. Also, the adult Sunday school teacher, he allowed it to happen. We did not discuss it. Nobody, even the adult Sunday school, nor the pastor came to me and tried to figure out what's going on either. So we really wasn't trying to solve it, okay, or to see if there's any, just what's going on. Nobody cared, I guess. I don't know. So, and that was another reason why I wanted to take a break. And I'm saying take a break. I wasn't quitting my class. I was taking a break because I needed to, like I said, back up from the situation, regroup, make sure I was teaching, not using my Sunday school as a idol that I was putting before God, right? And also too, because I loved teaching Sunday school. I did. It was most definitely a joy in my life. And then I also wanted to basically set a vision for what I want to teach my girls, right? Or teach the girls in the class. And then third, because a parent had taken some kids out of my class without talking to me, right? So these are things where, and maybe I needed time to think about these things. And because will I approach the parent and talk to her? Was it something I could do? I don't know yet. It was just something I needed to take a break from. Now, I could have went to the pastor too. Let me go ahead and say that too. I could have went to the pastor and said, look here, this is what's going on. But really, I just didn't have enough information to do that, okay? So please don't fault me for not going to the pastor, because I wasn't ready yet, because I had not assess the situation myself. Um, is God doing something that I need to be aware of? You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of things still unanswered. So I wasn't ready to talk about it yet, right? Things were in motion and I just want to kind of step away to figure it out, right? Now, so with all that said, so now let's go to the time where I go to the pastor and tell him or ask him, do you mind if I step down for a while from teaching Sunday school? I already have somebody take my spot because I already had made provisions. I asked one of the ladies to teach my Sunday school class while I take a break. Now, I did explain to her some of the reasons why I wanted the break. I did explain to her. So she knew that this was temporary. I wanted my class back. I wasn't giving my class up. It was only temporary. And that's probably why she took it, because she's like, it's going to be temporary. Eunice is coming back. And so I go to him and I ask him, and he says to me, sure. Now, I can't remember this part. I can't remember if he said, sure, you can take a break, or sure, you can quit. I can't remember that, okay, because that's not what stood out to me. But what did stand out to me was his comments after. He was like, or his question to me after that, after sure, like you can. He said, I have to ask you this. Are you going to leave the church? Because most people who step down, no, he didn't say step down. Most people who quit leave the church. Okay. Now he's right, because I can remember somebody stepped down or they quit. They actually quit. And not too long after that, they left the church. And then somebody else quit. But Sunday school was not the reason why. Well, I guess that doesn't matter, right? I was going to say Sunday school was not the reason why why they left the church. Okay. So, because also too, he would make a correlation between if a person was sitting in the front row or in the front beginning of the church, he know they get ready to leave the church when they start moving back to the back seat of the church, right? This is a people's way of slowly but surely leaving the church. Okay, so he also has said that over the years as well too. So now, once again, I said I was taking a break and not quitting. I didn't say that, but he said, since you're quitting Sunday school, are you going to leave the church? Now, he's not listening to me. He didn't listen. That's not what I said. He wasn't listening to me. Okay, he just wasn't listening. He basically, okay, now, what sparked this here would be probably because not too long ago, or not too long, when I asked, can I step down? Can I take a break? A couple left the church, and that man was a Sunday school teacher. He actually was a teenage boys Sunday school teacher. He also was a trustee. He was a choir director. Well, the choir director, he did not resign from that. Or did he? Yeah, I think he did. He did resign. He resigned after being pushed out of the position. I'm going to go in and say that, which I believe. I'm just going to say allegedly. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's my opinion, right? That's an opinionated thing. He was pushed out of the position, and so basically, he quit. He gave a letter basically stopping all his duties, but they still remain members of the church for a year after he stepped down. Okay. Now that's huge, because most people, when they do quit something at the church, they're gone within months or maybe even weeks. They don't even stay long. But this family or this couple stayed a year. Okay. So I think this is what was in their mind. And also I think too, he knew that me and her was close. Now, to be honest with you, or just to make it clear, this was not a family who was in a clique. So they knew everybody in church. Everybody knew them in church. So there was no clique with this family. Okay. There was no clique at all. Now the church is cliquish. Okay. There were cliques. You got to be part of the clique in order to be part of the clique. The church also had some other things, and this is not the video for that. So now let's get back on topic here. So basically, so in my mind, I'm thinking this is probably, and this is me thinking afterwards. This is not me thinking then, because that's not what I was thinking then. So there was a lot of things that happened at the church since then too. And I have a video series I did, 5 Foxes in a Vineyard, that sort of explain a couple of things that happened over the years while I was there too. I mean, there's a lot of things that I would like to put on video as a reflection later in years, I guess. I don't know. Maybe a teaching tool. I have no idea. So basically, so maybe all this was going on. I don't know. But he did not hear what I said. Okay, because he did not respond to what I said. He just basically, I guess, fast forwarded and said I was going to quit. So actually, I did go back to teaching that class, just for the record. I did go back to teaching. I was teaching the girls again what I had left. So I taught up to the day that we did leave the church, because we eventually would leave. But I taught up to the day that we left the church. I did. Now, so the next thing that was said was, okay, so what was my response to his question? I said, I can't leave because I'm married. Okay, that was my response. I'm like, I can't leave because I'm married. Now, let me say this too. I should have said this too, because just thinking back, like, why couldn't he ask me why? Why do you need to take a break? This is not the first time I've taken a break from teaching Sunday school. He knows this. I mean, maybe he doesn't remember, because it had been years ago. I wanted to take a break. He would not let me take a break. I think because there was nobody to teach the class. But this time I wanted to take a break, and I was going to take a break, and I got provision. I got somebody to take my class for a period of time. I did that. So I didn't want him to be worried about somebody taking my class as I take a break. He wouldn't have to worry about trying to get somebody to take my class. So I chose somebody who was very faithful member of the church, and also had been a mentor of mine over the years, somebody I respected. So I did choose her, a mature lady in the church, somebody who I felt had bandwidth to fill in for me, somebody who I felt like, loved the teenagers, had been involved in teenagers' lives, and had grandkids. So it was really a win-win, basically. For the break that I needed to take, basically, right? And because she was willing, she was so willing, so that was also a plus. So his question should have been, why? Do we need to discuss this further? Do we need to talk about this? Is everything okay? Something like that. But none of that was asked. None of that was probed. So that would have been him knowing me, that he needed to probe, and he didn't probe, so he doesn't know me. So now here we are now with my response to his question was, are you going to leave the church? And my response was, I can't, because I'm married. So the short end of that is I can't leave the church because I'm married, meaning I'm saying it's not my decision alone to leave the church. My husband hadn't said we was leaving. So I gave a short, abbreviated answer, right? That's a very abbreviated answer. Me and my husband hasn't discussed it. It hasn't came up in our conversation, but I just said I can't because I'm married, right? So it's not a decision I make on my own. And so what was his response to my response? His response was, I know you're not going to leave because you are one of us. Okay? Now, and I'm not making this up. This has really happened. This is really what he said. I know you're not going to leave because you're one of us. You're one of us. What does one of us mean? Now I'm going to be honest with you. I did not probe him. I did not ask him, what do you mean by that? Because it sounded scary if you think about it, if you think about this. So, because he could be, is he using where John is saying they left from among us because they were not one of us? It's kind of like they was proving that they were not a part of us, so they were going. And it's us, meaning the church of God. They left from among the church of God because they were not of God. Okay, my battery is low. What is going on? And the power is not plugged up here. Okay. The battery, the phone, the power cord was not plugged up. Okay. So the one of us, I'm not sure exactly what that meant. I have no idea. Okay. So, like I said, I did not probe. I did not ask. You know, I don't know, man. It was just, as I think back on it, it's just weird. Okay. So once again, did he know me? Yeah, I don't think so. Once again, he wasn't listening to what I said. I can't because I'm married, is what I said. But he said, oh, I know you're not going to leave because you're one of us. Now, to me, it sounds cultish, okay? Because a person leaving a church doesn't mean that they're leaving God, okay? It doesn't mean that they're not Christians anymore if they leave a church, because that sounds very Catholicism, right? The Catholic Church believe if you can't be saved unless you're in a part of the Catholic Church. So, was he saying that because I'm a Christian, or saying I'm so part of the group here, I'm so part of the group here that I wouldn't leave? I don't know. But the funny thing is this: the Sunday that we did leave, well, the first Sunday where we ended up at another church, we were at a church where some people were there that we knew. Well, not that we knew, but I knew. There was some people there that I knew. And there was some people that actually used to be members of the same church I was a member of, that we left, that my husband and I and my family, we left. And the lady, we would talk later, and also she was sharing with some other ladies about when she first seen me walk in the door of the church, because we were sort of late for Sunday school. We were there for Sunday school. And this is her talking about when she seen me walk in, she was like, what's going on? Is the church burnt down? She was like, Eunice is here. The church must have burnt down because I would never think she would leave. Okay. So apparently, he was not the only one that thought that, right? Because even she thought that, right? Meaning I supported the pastor. I did support him. Now, I did support him to the point where if somebody came to me in confidence and told me something, I was not going to tell the pastor. I wasn't going to tell him. If they came to me in confidence, matter of fact, if they came to me and told me anything, I was not going to tell the pastor. Okay? Because I think it's between me and that person. I just automatically think it's between me and the person. I don't think that person is coming to me so I can tell the pastor anything or talk to the pastor about it or at all. I believe that they came to talk to me, so they're going to talk to me. So I never shared anything with the pastor or his wife, for that matter. I didn't share things with her either, unless it was public stuff, right? If it was already common knowledge and I'm just referring to something that everybody already knew. But I'm not going to go have a conversation with you, something personal in your life, or even something general in your life, and go tell the pastor about it. I just wasn't going to do it. Even if I found it, in a sense, prayer request worthy, I still was not going to talk to the pastor or his wife about it. I just wasn't going to do it. But some people do. Some people do that. And matter of fact, some people in the church did that, where you could tell them something and they seem like they're trustworthy people. They seem like you can go to them and in confidence and they're not going to say anything to anybody, but that's not true. They're going to talk to the pastor about it or the pastor's wife about it, but I wasn't going to do that. But I'm gonna tell you, when the pastor did his crazy thing, like stand up if you with me, I was one of those people that stood up with for him, right? Or who's on the Lord's side was the name of his sermon. And then he wanted us to stand up if we were on his side, not the Lord's side, but on his side, right? Supporting what he did and what he's going to do. I stood up. Okay. I regret it today, but I stood up. Okay. So, meaning to let you know, I was one of them, apparently. Meaning I was just being dedicated to where I believe the Lord had me planted. So, you're supposed to bloom where you're planted. I was trying to bloom where I was planted. So, now, so you're one of us. So basically, I think he wasn't listening to me. He doesn't know me. So get to know your pastor. This is really what I'm saying, right? And I'm using. It's not like I'm using a singular form here, but I really want to say plural. Get to know the leaders in your church, and not only the leaders. Get to know people in the church. Get to know people. And let people know you, right? And that's part of that. Like, I mean, really get to know you, not give them a picture of who you want them to know, but get them to know you. Who are you, right? Because we live in we're in a place where um, we are in a place, and what I mean by we under the covenant of grace, and where we are to love one another. But if we don't get to know each other, how are we going to love each other for who we are, right? Or even be able to show grace toward each other, right? Because we don't know each other, right? So we need a test. Our love for each other needs to be tested, basically. Okay. How we're going to be kind to one another needs to be tested. I just can't say, oh, I love you, and it hasn't been tested. It needs to be tested. So I need to put in a situation where my love for you is going to be tested. And that means getting to know you and you getting to know me, and we're gonna have some friction there. And through that friction or disagreement or whatever, it's gonna be a test of our friendship, a test of our love for one another in the brotherly love bond of the church, right? Of that family church. Fellowship with each other over food and hanging out and do crazy stuff together, like you know, just whatever. I'm talking about crazy stuff like especially with me being 45. So crazy stuff like playing kickball or baseball or basketball or stuff like that with people. That's what I'm saying. Crazy. Okay. Just hanging out, doing things together. What do I like to do? What do they like to do? Those kind of things. Um, get to know each other. And that includes the pastor. It includes the leadership of the church as well. It's not this whole them and us thing going on. And that was one of the things too at the church. It was a them and it was us, right? It was him up here, type of person, and then the congregation is beneath him. Well, actually, it was him and his family, and then it was the church. It was church members. Some people sometimes got a chance to hang out a little while up here, but ultimately, eventually, they would be back down here. You know what I'm saying? So it's very segregated. So the first time I heard the concept of the pastor or leadership of the church is part of the congregation was when the church I'm at now, right? When you're dealing with ecclesiology, you're dealing with, the doctrine of the church. You're dealing with members of the church, and that include everybody. Because even Ephesians is written in a way, he starts his letter out, right? He's talking to the elders or whatever, but it's really, and he's talking about the saints too, right? It's writing to everybody, not just the ministers of the church, but he's writing to the church. Okay. So everybody is part of the body of believers, and how we just have different roles. We have different gifts in the church. So that has nothing to do with, oh, he's a pastor, so he's up here. No, he's the pastor. He preaches, right? Um, he is a shepherd. He shepherds the flock. They shepherd the flock. Let me use the plurality term. They shepherd the flock. Okay, they shepherd the flock of God that Christ bought with his own blood. Okay, so that's what they do, but they still part of the membership, and they are involved and responsible for every as a member. So just as in how in the world they're gonna watch over somebody's soul they don't even know. They don't even know them. How they were they gonna do that, right? So it's sort of practical thing there, right? Let me see. So that's basically it. I really wanted to encourage you to know where you go to church, know people there. Don't just go in and slip in and then slip out. Okay. Go there, get engaged, know people, develop friendships with those people. And so we can all work together, right? We all so we can pray for each other. We can help each other when um, just so we know each other, okay? Instead of this whole and it takes time. It's gonna take years, okay? I'm not saying you're gonna pour your whole life story out at one night with somebody. Let it develop over time. Be very cautious. Use wisdom because not everybody is ready to do that. Okay, I'm not saying everybody in the church is ready to do that. Um, because, like I said, even the church I came from, there was people who they seemed to be mature, but they wasn't. And I didn't say that, but I'm saying it now. There were people in church that seemed to be mature, but they were not. So there were people. You can't tell everybody your business. I can remember it was a lady who was that made a profession of faith. And so we were basically encouraging her in the Lord. So when I hugged her, I told her, my advice to her was keep your personal life keep your personal life to yourself. Okay. Because I really did not want her to be excited to the point where she thinks these people are so loving here and so caring. Now, and I'm saying it in a probably a mean way. So let me try to say it a little bit different here. I don't think the majority of the people are mean or not caring because I think they did care. I just think I'm gonna give you I'm gonna put my mind to think about somebody, but I'm not gonna name her name, okay? But I'm gonna. So I think she meant well when she would call the pastor, call the pastor's wife, and say, you know, whatever she said to them, because I don't know, but I'm assuming she would say it in this form, right? You know, Pastor, could you be praying? You and Sister Emma be praying because so and so is da 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 da, and tell people business when she should be able to handle it with her and not having to tell them everything. Okay. Now, so it's kind of that was my encouragement to that lady. That was my words of wisdom, my sage wisdom to her, being a member of that church for so long, for 14 years, and a faithful member too, very faithful member. I should say that, right? As I sit here. Now, I believe in the sovereignty of God. So I believe God had me there for the time that I was there. He didn't have me longer than there than I supposed to have been there. So even though sometimes I think, man, I wish I would have got out of there earlier. God had an appointed time when I would leave there, right? And and this is not a foreign concept because it shouldn't be because most of us say or we've heard preachers say stuff like it is by divine appointment you are here. It was not an accident you are here today, right? So I just believe in the sovereignty of God where he does ordain even down to the minute of things in life to bring about, so a million things, situations and things that he can bring about one thing to happen in our life. So at that time when we needed to leave that church, he got us out of there. Okay. It was ordained before the foundation of the world. He already knew it. We would leave the day we left. My husband, the day that my husband was like, this is it. Well, actually, my husband thought it was it because he said that Wednesday and we went back to Sunday. So God ordained us to leave Sunday. My husband thought we were leaving Wednesday. Okay. So God ordained a different day than my husband thought. So but at the end of the day, God had ordained for us to leave, even though I probably would have left years ago, right? But God hadn't ordained it, so I was still there. And so So I said all that to say basically, I learned there what I had to learn there. God had me there for the short time that I was there. And I'm very thankful for the time that God had me there. Very thankful. Um, because it was very maturing time for me for sure. Okay, it was a very maturing time. Um, so I'm not saying I didn't grow at all. Now, granted, a lot of my growth, especially to deal with those type of people on a Wednesday and a Sunday, was very, very good for me. It was very, very good for me to interact with people like that. It was very, very good. Now, now I'm not saying I was perfectly in every situation. A lot of those situations I totally messed up. So, but I'm very thankful for my time there, and it's made me to be when I meet new people, and even the church that I'm a member of now, how important it is to be honest up front and let's talk it through, let's deal with it, let's grow, let's grow, let's grow. So it's relationships mean more to me today than they did when I was there. I didn't want to really get to know anybody per se on a personal level, but nowadays I want to get to know my church members, and it's a lot of work. I'm not going to say that it's easy because it's not. And like I said, you got to figure out who's willing. Um, you have to know who's willing, okay? And you take moments. You take moments as they come. Opportunities. That's the word I was looking for. You look for opportunities to get to know people, okay? Because God will. I mean, pray and ask God to give you opportunity to get to know somebody, right? Because sometimes you want to make a connection with people too. Because sometimes that's also hard to make a connection because you're looking for somebody who has similar interests in you. Like for us, having kids, somebody else having kids would be cool. But we connect with all age groups. Which is fine. We don't have any cliques at the church. A known cliques. I should put it that way. I don't think we have any known cliques. Let's put it that way. Um, but like I said, the church I came from was cliquish, very cliquish, very occulted mindset. And part of the cult mindset would be that the pastor had autonomy, right? He was in charge of everything. Nothing. Now, granted, he thought he knew everything and knew everything about everybody, what was going on in everybody's life, and that's all. That's a fallacy, but that wasn't true. He knew what was in your life, at least an interpretation of what was in your life because somebody told him. God didn't reveal it to him. God did not reveal to him. I mean, or basically, it wasn't revealed through the Spirit. Okay, these things, the things that he knew about people, other people told him. So some people felt like the way I'm going to be approved by the pastor is if I have some information about somebody, it'll put me in good standing with the pastor. Okay. And I think that's a normal way of thinking of things, I guess, in a in a cult. I think that's how it works. But not in the true church. It doesn't work like that. I don't think. I don't think so. Nor are you going to have one man so much power that everybody's scared of him and thinking that everything that comes out his mouth is from God. No, it's not. How do you know what's coming out his mouth is of God? Is the word of God he's going to agree with God's word. He's going to be saying the same thing God already said. He's not going to say anything new. He's not going to come up with a vision with saying, I got so many visions, but I can't tell you because it'll blow your mind. Okay, he's not going to say that. Okay, because how in the world are we going to know it's from God if it's not from God's word? Duh. So the pastor, that's what he said. The pastor, he said basically that, he's got this vision. He got so many things and he can't tell us because it'll blow our mind. Okay, which is crazy. Like I said, once again, we don't know if that mess from God because it ain't in the scriptures. And how in the world we're going to know? And how we're going to be following a man blindly, saying he got all these visions, and he can't tell us because